Together, these two gentlemen will provide their messages of change and collaboration to help us win in a remarkable new world. Let's begin with SaulPaul.
What's up, Texas? That was kind of weak. And that's just me being nice because it's early. It was beyond kind of weak. What's up, Texas? Bunch of y'all white, huh? Wow. My time is short. I can't spend too much time there. Okay, cool. It's all good. I'm from Texas. I'm from Houston, Texas. I love my city. All right, I'm gonna start out with some music. Try to grease the wheel a little bit. But I can't do that because my hands are occupied on this next part. So I need you to take the audio cue. Do this for me. Put your hands in the sky, from side to side. Ain't going nowhere, we're just waving bye-bye. To all of the haters, to all the haters, to all of the haters. Hey, now put your hands in the sky, from side to side. Ain't going nowhere, we're just waving bye-bye. To all of the hatred, to all the hatred. 2022 a great year, we gon' make it. So far back. I rock big stages all the time. I'm actually gonna hop off in the crowd. This is when I get to like grease the wheel, sauce it up for David when he comes up here. He's gonna tell you he's gonna share with you some amazing things and whatnot. After he's done, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna do for you what I've done across the planet. Like I was in South Africa last month. I was in Montreal, Canada a few weeks ago. I did this big conference just a few days ago. I get to go everywhere, and everywhere I go, amongst many other things that I do, this one thing that I do that's constant, I make up improvisational songs on the spot. Collectively, we get to make a song. So that's what I get to do for you, or more so, that's what we get to do together. But first, I want to share my story, talk about what it means for me to be the change, give you an opportunity to join me and the Make It movement and my team and be the change on how to be the change. So I'm going to take you through some cool photos and whatnot. I like to always start with this slide, because I look good in that photo. So yeah, I'm SaulPaul, 3-time TED Talker, 2-time Grammy-nominated artist. I mentioned I did a bunch of cool stuff like America's Got Talent and whatnot. I could start with, I wouldn't start with that one. That photo's not as cool. I don't look as good in that photo as I did the other one. But this is key. I have this campaign called Be the Change. Right now, you can be one of the first to join it here at TAB, here at Sunbelt. Actually, make some noise for Sunbelt. 75 years, that's how long this has been going on. Salute to you. Or if I'm not confused, I might be confusing it, it might be the text. That might be TAB, this 75 years. So give it up for TAB. A few years ago, my friend Roy Spence was here. Anybody know him? Yeah, so me and Roy are friends. I just found out that it was initially called the Promised Land Project. And it was launched here like 5 years ago. It is now morphed into the Make It movement, and I am now an ambassador for the Make It movement. and I love it. So what I need everybody to do right now is pull out your phone, scan that QR code. It'll take you to the site where you can join. Actually, it's a choice. You can not be a change maker. You can keep your phone right there on the table in your pocket. But if you scan that code, give it a second. The Wi-Fi's slow here, or they got blockers and all that cool stuff. Give it a second. The link's not broken. You can sign up to join the Making Movement. More so to Be the Change Project. How many of you have a mama? Okay, I did it wrong. I should have said, because I'm funny. I know I got this energy this good energy, but I wasn't being funny. So I usually tell people, don't laugh. How many people here have a mama? How many people here are mamas? Make some noise for mamas. Here's my story. I don't have a mama. My mama died in a car accident when I was 3 years old. I had one, but I don't have one. She died when I was 3. I never had a father. He was gone before I was born. He abandoned me. He was more of a sperm donor than anything else. And so when my grandmother passed away, when my mom died, I was placed in foster care. No fault of my own. See, a lot of these young people that you see in this photo, they have similar stories to mine. Different details and whatnot, but still, they don't have the best of situations. That's why I choose to be the change. Myself, my team, and I, over the last decade, we've served 1 million youth. I'm really excited because now I have this big, hairy, audacious goal, and our goal is to serve 1 million youth in the next school year. So we can't do it alone. That's why I would love for you to think about joining the Be the Change movement, right? Megan, I'll tell you more about it later when I sign some books and all that cool stuff when we get to meet. But I want to highlight this amazing woman right here. This is Pearlie. Because she adopted me and she showed me love, even though I was an orphan, I grew up in foster care in Houston, in one of the many ghettos. And even I got arrested by the FBI when I was 17 years old. I was in the penitentiary by the time I was 20 because she loved on me and she supported me. I realized that, what's the best way to say it? I realized that I was born on purpose with a purpose. I realized that if I changed my choices, I could change my life. I did. And so even though I was in the penitentiary, I dreamed the dream, right? And I get out of prison, and then I went to this college. Anybody know what college this is? You can show love if you're an Aggie. It's still all good. This is the prestigious University of Texas at Austin. That's pretty monumental that I went from prison incarceration to being a student at UT. Ultimately, I graduated with a 4.0. At that point, I dedicated my life to being a change maker. To me, my take on Be the Change is this. The fact is we all live on the same planet. The truth is we each live in our own world, and I encourage you to be the change in the world that you live in. You have many opportunities to be the change right where you are. You don't have to actually change the world, you just need to change your world. Your world might be your company, it might be your community, it might just be your household. Whatever it is, you can be the change. And you can remove that spirit where you focus on other people and you tell them to do this or they should do that. You just be the change where you are. That's what I did. And I do a bunch of cool stuff. This is right before the pandemic. This is January 2020. This is like 6 weeks before the world shut down. Right? That's my first Grammy nomination. This is about 3 months ago. This is my second Grammy nomination. See, I use my platform. I'm a professional. I'm a motivational speaker and a musician. But I use my platform to be the change. I encourage you to use your platform to be the change. And if you need some help, if you need some opportunities to do that, let me see. Bring up this cool, make it easy for you. Just scan that code, and we can help you with some opportunities to be the change right in your community as we take the Make It movement all across Texas. At the end, I'm gonna come back. I really wanted to hop off the stage and come see you. I think I'll do that when I come back. So this is just like a little preview. After David does what he does, we're gonna collaborate. I'm gonna come back, and then collectively, we're going to make a song, so you get to be part of it. So right now, everybody make some noise. That was better, that was not as weak. All right, perfect. And so what happens next, David comes up, and then I get to come back, and then we get to make some music together. There could even be some dancing, but exactly. All right, so give it up for David.
Is that it? Am I go now? Oh God, I was told this would be bigger. Okay, hold on. Sorry. Good morning.
If you're thrilled not to be talking on a webcam right now, say amen. Thank you very much. I know there is a clicker here somewhere, friends. And so I'm just going to talk about other stuff until somebody can find me my clicker. Sounds good. Good morning. Listen, I am so thrilled to be here. As I said, thrilled not to be talking on a webcam. We're going to talk about change, how your customers and clients have changed post-pandemic. We think about the world before, and so many things have been changing for so long. And to be clear, this is not a COVID presentation, but it's very much a post-COVID world presentation. SaulPaul, you got my clicker? Oh, there's my good man. It's just another opportunity. He just wants to be back out. SaulPaul, ladies and gentlemen, yeah! All right, presentation back on the screen, please. There we go. That's it. Slides, screen. We can do it, I know it. And then I can click through it. It's okay, I'll hang out for a second. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you the subject. Come on, friends, give me my slides. We got really cool stuff to talk about. People always say at the beginning to make sure that you put your phones away or put them on silent. I'm like, keep your phones out. I have a colleague who says, if you look out in the audience and people are on their phones, you've lost them. I said, oh no, I think they're just tweeting my brilliance into the universe. If there's any chance we can put the slides on the screen, that would be awesome. Come on, friends, I know we can do it. All right, it's okay. I'll start off telling you a quick story. It's 1976. I am 12 years old. And if you've ever seen the movie Disney's The Jungle Book, I look like Mowgli. It's a Saturday morning, and I'm super excited because I have a lunch date with Tara Yeager. Now, Tara was the prettiest girl in school. I had a crazy crush on Tara Yeager. And we're having lunch together, so it's a big deal. Actually, it wasn't just with Tara, it was with all of my friends. It was my friend Johnny Rocket, his real name, Orlando Martinez, Jim Rouse, and my best friend, Max. And every Saturday, we got together at my house. We all ride up together on our bikes. We go up to the top of the hill. We turn left past Johnny's house. We go all the way to the end, and then we would ride down the hill as fast as we could ride to make it up the other side. Without stopping, we would turn left into the parking lot of Burger King. Now, my friends would go around front, and they would order their lunch, but me and Max would sneak in the side door. Full disclosure, Max was my dog. Coolest dog ever. He'd hide under the table. My friends would go around and get their lunch. They'd come back to the table. They'd watch Max, and then I would go up to the front and order my lunch. Now, every Saturday, I ordered the exact same thing. I got a Whopper with no onions, still do, small fry, medium Coke, $1.49. It was 1976. So I had to do chores around the house. I had to earn my money. I had to mow the lawn, I had to wash the dishes, and I had to keep my room clean. And for that, my dad gave me a weekly allowance of $1.49. 9 a.m. Saturday morning, I get my allowance. By noon, it was gone. Every week. I had no money during the week. And my dad would say, David, why? Why you spend all your money at Burger King? I mean, it's your money, but why don't you buy something? Why don't you save up? But why do you spend all your money on food? But I wasn't spending it on food, was I? I was spending it on laughter and silliness and making our friends laugh so Coke would come out of their nose and feeding Max French fries under the table. This was the greatest time of my life. I remember this like it was yesterday. I am 58 years old, and I remember this like it was yesterday. And I know what you're thinking. He cannot be 58 years old. I know. What? Friends, we vote. Everybody votes every time with our time and our dollars and our feet for the experiences we want to repeat, for the ones that we want to remember. It had nothing to do with Burger King other than looking the other way when Max was under the table. The experience is how we experience life, how we experience business. And we have choices. And the choices are vast. Sidebar in that story, by the way, that 12-year-old girl in the story, she's been my wife for the last 29 years. Isn't that great? Thank you. Actually, it's not true at all. She moved away the next year and never saw her again. But it would have been, that would have been a good story. Just not true. All right, with your permission, I'm just going to skip ahead. Now this is going to be really awkward because I'm just going to hit this really quickly and go through. Oh, by the way, that's the girl. Here's my friends. We didn't have any of those, but it'll help me catch up for a second. Thanks for your patience. And a big thanks for the tech team and AV and everybody else. Give them a hand. They worked hard. Thank you. Thank you, folks. All right, that's it. That was it. Okay, here we go. Whoops. We're going to go back one, and we're going to go forward one. There we go. $1.49. That's what it was. There we go. We live in a crazy time. We have more options than we have ever had in the history of history. And in almost every case, that's good for us. Right? As consumers, we're all consumers. The world has changed in such a profound way. Like I said, this is post-COVID, but think about how long this has been going on. If somebody had been 1972, which by the way was 50 years ago, if they were caught up in some crazy whirlwind and transported to 2022, they wouldn't survive for a week. They wouldn't know how to buy things, how to eat, how to find clothes. Think about how much the world has changed. The question is, do you have a business model that was created 20 years ago, 30 years ago? It doesn't mean that most of what we do isn't still relevant and rational and functional and profitable. But the important thing is to recognize what has changed in the world in terms of how we live and how we buy and how we communicate. This is an opportunity to future-proof your business by recognizing the changes that are happening and the changes to your customers and clients. Whether you're a vendor, whether you're a builder, how we interact, the expectations that we have changed tremendously. Let's talk about what we've learned in the last year. We've learned some very, very traditional businesses have fallen by the wayside for no other reason than they didn't recognize the changes that had happened around them. And in almost every case, the problem, which might be time, it might be access, it might be supply chain, is followed by some really remarkable innovation. We can lament the loss of companies like Toys R Us and others. Anybody struggling to find toys? Anybody just can't find toys? And are you kidding me? You get them on Amazon, you can get them at Target, you can get wherever else. The reason why categories go away, the ones that we never thought could or would because they're so beloved, they only were because somebody found a way to do it different or better or faster or smarter. Well, we have several hundred people sitting in this room today, hundreds and hundreds at this conference, learning to grow your business, sharing our insights. There are millions of people outside of this room trying to figure out how to do what you do differently, or better, or faster, or smarter, trying to find ways to disrupt the industry. Is there a different way? Is there a better way? And the more we can be conscious of that and cognizant of where those threats might come from, we can future-proof our own business. We learned during COVID that we can communicate. This works well. Prior to COVID, I did 1 out of every 5 calls on Zoom. Today, it's 19 out of 20. It avoids those misunderstandings. You get a vendor, you get a customer, somebody who's frustrated with something. Text doesn't do it. And when you're starting to get messages in all capital letters, somebody's pissed off. But how much could that conversation? Now, of course, multi-day conferences over Zoom are horrible. They're just horrible. And I did 87 of them. It's a reasonable accommodation. We do the best we can. Kudos to the people behind the scenes who put on virtual conferences, scrambling to find an alternative way of making sure that our members get value and our vendors get value. But the reality is, it's certainly not preferable. But in terms of individual communication, it's awesome. I spoke yesterday in Las Vegas, and on stage in front of 800 people, I called my son on FaceTime live. He's driving his car up to Breckenridge. It was his 19th birthday. I called him on stage, said happy birthday, everybody said happy birthday. So not only am I talking face to face, live, he's in a moving vehicle, I'm in a different city. For my parents' generation, it's magic. It's freaking science fiction magic. For us, it's Wednesday. And I'm telling you, friends, it's awesome. It's wonderful. But it's not wonderful if you are resistant, if you're falling behind. Oh, look at Tim. He's got palm trees. Tim's talking from a tropical island. It's so funny. It's not funny, Tim. It's been 2 years. It's not funny anymore. If I see one more palm tree or Golden Gate Bridge, I swear to God, I'm going to open a vein. It's been 2 years. I was at Qdoba, and I went to the front, and I ordered my food, and I said, "Can I get the Cholula sauce?" And they said, "I'm sorry, we don't offer that anymore, right?" And I said, "Why?" And I said, "God, don't tell me." She says, "Yeah, COVID." I said, "COVID? It's Cholula because of all those Cholula-related COVID exposures." My God, friends, it's been 2 years. Stop the excuse. But with those problems, there's new solutions. And the innovations, problems drive innovation. We have an incredibly creative generation. Think about the things within the building industry. I was at a restaurant at the Chicago airport, and I'm sitting there at the railing looking out, eating my lunch, and person after person is asking the same question of the hostess stand. And it turns out it's the most common question asked at airport restaurants. You know what the question was? Do you have a seat next to an electrical outlet? Right? I'm the most popular guy at airports because I carry a power strip with me. I plug in the wall and everybody gets to plug in as well. But you know, what are buyers looking for? What are the innovations that reflect the new reality, the new world that we live in? It's not just USB ports, now it's USB-C ports. How many times are we at home looking for a plug or something else? Problems create great solutions. How many people get their groceries delivered? If you have not, it is awesome. Doesn't mean you'll never go, but God, how much time does it save? Innovations that came about as a result of COVID have transformed the world. But more importantly, friends, it's transformed your customers' expectations for access and immediacy and accommodation. Time. We think, if I ask many of you, and I speak to a lot of CEO roundtable groups and others, and I say, why you? What's your secret sauce? Here's what I get all the time. Quality, commitment, caring, trust. It's about our people. Here's what the research shows. Today people buy and they prioritize based on speed. Speed of access, speed of communication, speed of delivery. Flexibility, accommodation, and convenient. Today, convenient trumps quality. It's not that quality is unimportant. Quality is assumed. If you weren't good at what you do, the marketplace would figure it out pretty quickly. It's Yelp, it's TripAdvisor, it's Rotten Tomatoes, it's Glassdoor. In a world where everybody's good, or at least good enough, and good enough at a better price point is sometimes a better choice, we will opt for, okay, who can get it to me faster? Convenience is a huge driver today. Can we buy with one button? Can I reach a real person? Look at your processes. Can you find ways to simplify what it is that you do? There's a new condition. Everybody talks about COVID. We hear, here's one. It's sweeping the country. Nobody's talking about it. They're talking monkeypox. They're talking COVID. Have you heard of this? It's called primnesia. Absolutely everywhere. It's when you order something from Amazon and you can't remember, what was it? Did you order something? Right? But think about it. But even this rash of deliveries, which is phenomenal. I saw a news report the other night on Bed Bath & Beyond. They had a bad quarter at Bed Bath & Beyond. And one of the representatives said, we've been having supply chain issues and people haven't been able to find certain items and our numbers have been down. That's not why they're down. And we know darn well why they're not down. Why they're down. They're down because of Amazon. You ever go to Bed Bath & Beyond and you can't find what you're looking for? No, we just go on Amazon. But it's also created new problems, hasn't it? It's the porch pirates. So what do we do as a result of that? Now we get video doorbells. New innovation. Problem, wonderful new innovations. I can keep an eye on my cat. He is so darn cute. It's all I posted about today. We have a new kid. We're new empty nesters, my wife and I. And now we go out to dinner and we're like, so what about the cat do you want to talk about tonight? What else? Just walking through the exhibit hall. Built into the house, a place for them to put packages. It is porch pirate proof. Love the innovation. I cannot wait to go through the exhibit hall and see the other new innovations. It makes me better. It makes me smarter. And of course, right after this, Great American has sponsored a number of free books. Come in the back, I'm signing them until they run out. But some of the innovations have been really remarkable. Here's the other big shift in expectations for your customers and clients. It is immediacy of access to information, order status, supply chain. We know we're having struggles. We know it's really difficult to go custom on some things because some of those supply chain issues are making it unreasonable. Cost, timing, and everything else. But understand, their expectations are for access and information. When we were young, if we got a bad report card, we would hide the report card at the end of or we would hide ourselves. That's what I would do. Now for our kids in school, within 10 minutes at the beginning of each class, I get a notification on my Apple Watch if the kids have not turned in their work. My son hates this. Guess what? Daddy hates this too. Turn in your work. But once again, it's changing expectations. Anybody notice that your customers and clients are a little more impatient, a little more short-tempered and frustrated? Well, we all are. Because of this, because we're getting accustomed to be able to get quick answers. And we get frustrated when there's unnecessary delay. And unnecessary is just in the mind of the person. They may not understand behind the scenes what we're dealing with, but we need to help them do that. Let's look ahead. We know there's going to be bigger challenges. The recession, if it's not already here, it's coming. How are we future-proofing our businesses? How are we so serving and treating our current customers that we retain them? If people start pulling back and it's harder and harder to acquire new customers, it makes it that much more important to treat the ones that we have well. It is an age of disruption. And disruption is simply asking the question, is this the way it should be done? I mean, it's the way you do it. It's the way our industry does it, but I don't know, could it be done differently? Here's a challenge. Imagine you left your company today on good terms. Everybody's called into the break room. They've got cupcakes. Congratulations. Thanks for your service. And on Monday, you start a competing company to the one that you work for right now. You're fully funded, but you're not bound by any legacy leases or equipment or pieces or people. You get to take all of your knowledge with you. How would you beat your current company? How would you win against others in your category? Knowing what you know in 2022, would you start the same company? Is there a subset of your clients or work that you would do that's more profitable? It's what's driving the innovation today. Because if you can determine where your weaknesses and vulnerabilities might be, don't you think competitors can? That's how disruption happens. Others come in and they say, there's got to be a better way. And so you get Uber and Airbnb and others as well. Do we just keep widening the roads? Do we stack cars? What if we just shared the cars we already have? What if somebody's going somewhere, they can take somebody with them, and we create a clearinghouse, and you get wonderful innovation. But here's the reality, and here's why it's so important that the builders get together. On the national level, on the local level, at Sunbelt, we know the value is in the conversations in the hallways between sessions. Let's future-proof our own industry. Let's ask ourselves the question, where are we vulnerable? Where is our industry or our subcategory going to be in 5 years? Pull out that crystal ball. How do you think people are going to do business with you and communicate with you and order from you or do it themselves 3-5 years from now? What do we need to do between now and then? Because the longer we wait or wait for something to happen and we react to it, sometimes it's already too late for Kodak or Blockbuster or Toys R Us. Because when it happens to us, external forces, we call that disruption. But when we drive the conversation and the change, we just call it innovation. Friends, it's the same thing. It just depends on who's driving it. Do this exercise with your team. Compete against yourself. What would you do differently? Because here's the challenge. We've created a customer journey. Because there's so many things we cannot control. We can't control pandemics, economy, competitors, technology. So we try to control what we can. Here's how they learn about us. Here's how they reach out, find us online, reach out, communicate, order, customize, deliver, follow up, whatever that journey is within your particular industry, vendors or builders, it works. And where it doesn't work, we tweak it. Because if we can have a greater level of predictability of our customers' behavior and what they might buy, we can plan for that, right? We can budget for that. We have an anticipated income, revenue stream, cash flow. Here's the problem. Your customers have never read your employee manual. They don't know how they're supposed to do it. They're just learning from other industries how easy they can do it. Walk your own journey, friends. Pretend you don't know how to do what you do. Map out the 10, 13, 14 steps that it takes to get from an initial idea all the way to completion. Take your best people, lock them in a room, order Chinese food, close the door, and say, don't walk out of that room until you've cut that process in half, until you've sped it up by 2 times. Or at least allow people to skip the things that don't pertain to them. We get very locked into a process. It works. That's how our business works. But we're going to be scrambling to catch up others. Think about how many things that we can do things quickly now. And there are certain things we can't control. We can't control supply chain issues. But you can control what you can control. Here's the first one. We have to become ridiculously easy to do business with. You want to future-proof your business. And the quality that you provide, that's a given in today's world. Simplify your process. Get people what they want faster. Help them, give them the choice of talking to a real person. I understand staffing issues, I understand supply chain. I'm just telling you broadly, this is how we will win. In addition to quality, I spoke at a conference and the CEO was doing the state of the company, gave all the information. At the very end, he says, and remember, at the end of the day, it's about quality. We will win on quality. And everybody's, and I just thought, oh my God, I could not disagree more. Stay with me. It's not that quality is unimportant. Quality is incredibly important. But quality today is not a differentiator. You may disagree and you're welcome to. Quality is the entry fee. You better be good at what you do if you want to compete, or the marketplace will figure it out pretty quickly. At the beginning of the day, it's about quality. At the end of the day, it's about competitive advantage. Not what do you do well, what do you do better than others who do it well. Look around this room, friends. Friends, colleagues, competitors, everybody's good. And here's the worst part. Everybody else that's here at this conference they're very, very, very nice people. Come on. I ask people all the time, I say, why are you? I say, you know what, I'm going to be honest. We actually do what we say we're going to do. And I look at them and I'm like, oh my God, you believe that? You really believe that? How on God's green earth are competitors staying in business with all of that not doing what they say they're going to do? You know what makes us different? We really listen to our customers. And we tailor our solutions to meet their individual needs. Grow up. Everybody listens. Everybody's good people. My God, we're supporting our families. We need legitimate ways to differentiate. And this is it. This is what 2023 and beyond, we have to learn to say yes more often to ridiculous things that we've been saying no to. Doesn't mean we do things unprofitably. Doesn't mean we stop a major manufacturing effort for a one-off. But some pretty silly things that we say no to. I was at a restaurant in Nashville 2 days ago with a big group of people, nice restaurant, and we said, are you bringing menus? And they said, no, you got to scan the QR code in the center of the table. And I'm like, I'm old and I can't see that small. Do you actually have a real? No, we did this for your convenience. We have it all. It's not for our convenience. It's for their. How many people, let's be honest, do not know how to scan a QR code? Actually, you guys are better than I thought. As a matter of fact, at the very end, I've got one. And I'll send you all the slides, so just be prepared at the very end. I got very little time. Here's the thing. It's not always yes, I know that. If you have a vegan restaurant, somebody wants a buffalo burger, sorry dude, it's a hard no. But even when it is a no, and sometimes it is, here's your magic phrase. Here's your big takeaway. You look at the person, you talk to the person, you say, let me tell you what I can do. And everything else that follows is you being accommodating. Not even, let me tell you what I can do. We can do X or Y. We can keep you informed of every step along the process. We don't want to feel like we're talking to a brick wall. You might have seen this before. Do we have any volume? It's okay. We'll skip it. We hear a lot about creating wow moments. Where everybody says, we got to create. I don't know that most industries lend themselves to wow moments. I think getting people what they want, communicating with them well, being flexible for things that are a little bit outside the norm of what we normally do, that's a wow. We spend so much time trying to find the words to mask our incompetence or the words to mask our deficiencies. How about instead we just live up to the things? It's not an issue of integrity. It's being competitive. Because once again, social proof today is everybody looking online, finding out what other people say. We want to make the safest choice. And the ones that others love is the safer choice. Give people if you want people to talk about you, give them things to talk about. How many of your businesses are optimized for speed? Speed of access, speed of answers, speed of information as to the status. When your customers or clients, if they have to call you to ask the status of their order, you're already losing because there's a measure of frustration. And when they don't know, they fill in their mind with a lot of dire scenarios. What if we put in mechanisms to inform people on a regular basis? My daughter had her car crashed. Some girl in the parking lot ran into her. We took it into the shop. My daughter wanted to be the one to check in. She was 16. She says, Dad, I got this. And they asked her, what's the name of her car? And I said, it's a Hyundai. And they said, no. What's her name? And my daughter says, her name is Dolly. And I said, what? And the woman looks at me, she goes, every girl names her car. And so my daughter got a text message the next day from Dolly telling her the status of, and the next day, I'm really excited. They just brought me in here. They're doing a great job. The next day, I miss you so much. They said, I'll be ready on Friday. I can't wait to see you. Right? But what did it do? It gave me something to talk about, but what they really were doing was giving her status updates so they didn't have to take those calls. Do not be difficult to reach. When it's difficult to complain, people complain online. When it's difficult to reach a real person, they reach out to your competitors. People don't want to learn your complicated process. They want to go around it. For us, that's frustrating. For them, it makes sense. Help them do that. Help them simplify, get to what they want quicker. You are ridiculously easy to do business with. All right, a couple minutes left. Number 2, we have to understand not just our customers, demographically, psychographically, what are they likely to buy, but understand who they are and how we can make their life better. And I'm not being touchy-feely. I'm saying if we really look beyond the transaction, and I'm not supposing for a moment that anybody is less caring, but we are product-centric. We're really good at what we do. We're really good at this. And we sell it to as many people as possible, and that creates market share. That's how business is done. Well, what happens when others are very, very good at what you do? The opportunity we're seeing today is companies moving from product-centric to customer-centric. And to be clear, customer-centric does not mean customer-focused. We're all customer-focused. It's different. Customer-centric says we're good, we don't take our eye off the ball, but we're better than our competitors at understanding the changing world and expectations and needs and wants and fears of our customer base. The people who are your prime customers, and we're going to do an exercise on the other side of this wall here in the Education Center at about 1:45. For those who want to do a deeper dive on this subject, think about your ideal customer or client. What's changed in their world? Do they have financial constraints? If it's B2B, have they had consolidation? Are there new people in charge? Are there new market segments? Do they have a new boss? How do we help them serve their markets better? Not just what can we sell them. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm talking about opportunities for competitive advantage. We call that service empathy. Really putting yourself in their shoes. Not just what they want to buy, but what happened to them in the last week or month or year. We truly get that person, the person on the other side, we can meet their needs better. We look at the world through their eyes. And it's a great exercise. We're going to do it over in the Education Center after lunch. Golden rule says, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Just treat people like you want to be treated. But your customers aren't you. They want to be treated like they want to be treated. That's the platinum rule. Do unto others as they would have done unto themselves. Don't treat them like you want to be treated. Understand them enough to know how they want to be treated. We look at a day in the life of that customer. We're going to talk in this session about who your ideal customer is. And we're going to go through a process to understand their wants and needs and hopes. Product-centric asks a simple question. How much stuff can we sell them? Nothing wrong with that. If we're looking for an advantage, ask a different question. How many ways can we enhance their life? Can we get them an answer quicker? Can we be more flexible to an unusual circumstance? Because we can, just maybe harder, but you know who loves that? They do. Make sense? All right, here's the final thing. It's just a different world, friends. We kind of have to do business today as if every one of our customers and clients is armed with a video camera, because they are. Everything is recorded and everything is permanent. I tell my kids who are no longer kids, late teens, early 20s, mid 20s, and I tell their friends, I said, you know the difference between love and the internet? The internet is forever. And, oh, it's cynical, horrible. Who would say that? It's a terrible, terrible thing. No, not really. The point is, there is a permanence to underperformance, to angry interactions, like never before. And it goes online and it haunts you forever. So we make sure that we aren't arming our customers. And the more that frustration grows because they can't find somebody, they can't get an answer, put in mechanisms, safety to make that happen. Tell you a really quick story. I sang for years, 30 years ago, with a group called the Diners. A cappella doo-wop. If you've seen the movie Pitch Perfect, that's the kind of work that we did. It was great fun. Not on the level of what SaulPaul does for you. But not only did I have a mullet, friends, and a permed mullet. I'm just saying. But here's the story. So we used to sing at a lot of fancy events. So we did, clubs. We also got hired to do a lot of weddings. There was one wedding, big wedding, Beaver Creek, Colorado, summertime, right outside of Vail. Multi-million-dollar wedding. We get hired to sing, and they had this tent probably 80 yards long, massive. People were arriving at one end. There was this long, long, long dance floor, and we were at the far, far end. And there's 5 of us and microphones and stands, and we were singing, and the reality is, nobody was near us for like 45 minutes. Nobody was within 60 yards of us. And so we were young, and we kind of screwing around. I mean, honestly, we were screwing around. We're making up words and lyrics because nobody cared. Between songs, I look in the distance, and I see this really classy gentleman, tall, silver hair, black tuxedo, makes the long walk across this dance floor, comes up to the edge of the stage, and he motions me down. And I lean down. I figure the guy's got a song request or something. He gets really close to my ear. What he said to me that day, I have thought about once a week for the last 30 years. He gets really close to my ear and he says 2 things to remember. Number 1, someone is always watching. And number 2, you're getting paid for this. With that, he raised an eyebrow and turned and walked away. And I literally wanted to throw up because he was right. And I was really embarrassed. And I gathered the guys together and I told them what had happened. And from then on, we were on. Have we ever had a time like that? Like today? Everything, it doesn't mean we can't be human. You have to have the conversation with your team. We got to recognize that every time somebody might be watching, Disney's really good at this. They have language. They don't have employees at Disney parks. You know that? They have cast members. Pretty clever. Everybody's a cast member. They're not on duty or off duty. They're on stage or off stage. Knowing that anything they do can be seen and recorded and shared, we are representing our companies. When they're off stage in the underpark, break room, cafeteria, they can be themselves. But when they're on stage, they're representing the company. It doesn't matter if they're a costume character or a maintenance worker. We've seen it. Are we representing our companies? All right, I want to be good for time. We'll bring SaulPaul up here in a second. Be ridiculously easy to do business with. Walk your own journey. Walk as if you were a customer and look for ways to simplify a process, to make it easier, to make it faster. Understand not just your customers, but what's changed for them. And of course, remember that we are always on. That's who I am. If you want to connect us, David Avrin, everywhere. Once again, I'm going to be booth 100 down the hall here near the entrance for Great American. Thank you for sponsoring this session. They got free copies, like 100 free copies until they run out. And I have a program to help you with the morning huddle. If you have your phone, I'm going to send you all these slides. Here's how you do it if you haven't done it before. Open your camera, but don't take a picture. Open your camera, zoom in, and something pops up. If you click that, put in your information. You're not on my list. I'm not going to send you a million things, but I'll send you all the slides and this exercise that we're going to do this afternoon. I hope I see you at 1:45. Ladies and gentlemen, SaulPaul.
Give it up for David. David, I have a question. Before we leave here and we go to the back and sign books and whatnot, or maybe I don't have a question for you. I have a question for you. We're about to collectively make a song. But my question for you is, I want you to give me a word to put in this song. That's how I usually present it. But instead, because of this powerful, rousing nuggets that you've shared with us, what's the word that comes to mind based off of what you just heard? Okay, perfect. So I have the capacity to remember like maybe up to 5 words without having to write them down or jot them. So change, that's one word. I need another word. I'll go toward the voices. What was that? Yes? Oh, I like that. Yes. All right. You tell me who to pick next, David. You pick one of the participants. Who's next?
Sure. What's a word that stuck out for you?
What was that? Speed.
Speed. Good.
So what do we have? We have change, yes, speed,
easy.
David, you win. When I was in the back, because this is flowing, this is natural. Side note, I want to highlight that you held out on me. Like, we prepared for this. Shout out to Sunbelt and the team that put this together. They were like, we have 2 amazing individuals. We would love for you to collaborate. David and I were hopping on a Zoom. I was at a show. He was somewhere else at a show. We're talking about how we're going to work it out. And he was like, man, what do you want me to do? Like, it's your show. You do it. You held out on me. You did not tell me that you were a wedding singer. So I'm a little disappointed because I was like, the collaboration would have been you sing, but instead y'all got to give me words. Okay. But in the back, he also said, I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And he was like, man, if it goes well, what I hope they say is easy. And that was one of the words. So give it up for David.
Thank you.
That means the message rung true and it led through. So we have change. Y'all help me out. What do we have? We have change, yes, speed, and easy. Okay, cool. Those are our 4 easy words. Now, for the last word, I need a big word. And it might not. What was that? Adaptability. That's a good one. Now, what did you say in the yellow? Ooh. Collaboration, ridiculous. I like that. Now this doesn't have to be connected to like the presentation. This is like the bonus word, like on Wheel of Fortune when you get to, okay. So to inspire myself, I need a challenging word, like multi-sabbatic. It needs to be bigger than collaboration or ridiculous or, like, what's the biggest one? Okay, we got, somebody actually raised their hand. Give it up for somebody raising their hand. What you got, sir? One more time. Customer-centric. Y'all like that one?
That'll work.
That'll work. All right. So you sing, so I see it on you.
I've also been speaking 5 days in a row and my voice is not right there. But
that was him saying, no, SaulPaul, I will not beatbox. Okay, so this is when you get to hang out. You get to hang out for a second.
All right.
I'll take it from here. All right, let me see. Mic check, there we go. So your part. Every time I point to y'all, I'm gonna make it easy for you. I want you to say, make it. Let's try it one time. That's pretty good. Like, I'm telling you, you have that white clip. It's just like, boom. So if you watch close, I'm gonna make this song up on the spot. Didn't exist before this moment. Crowdsourced by you. So check it out. He's not going to beatbox, I will, so I'm going to add a beat to it. All right. So now we have some music. So now's your part. Cool. I'll bring it back. So every time, let's do a dry run. If your mind's right, then let me see. If your mind's right, you can grind and you can. You shine and you can be tight and you can. Now the last time is 4 times, I believe, maybe 5. Let's see. If your mind's right, it goes down and you. That was awesome. Okay, you know what? For all the, I'm gonna say that joke. Y'all did that very well. All right. Let's do it to the beat now. If your mind's right and you grind, you can. I congratulated you too soon. Y'all were terribly off beat. Just ride it. So if you got the beat, be a good neighbor and bring your neighbor with you. Just bring them along. All right, let's do it. If your mind's right and you grind, you can make it. You shine and you make it. You shine and you make it. If your mind's right, it goes down and you. Hey, if your mind's right, it goes down and you shine and you, in time you will. If your mind's right, it goes down and you. That was exceptional. Give it up for yourselves. All right, so in conclusion, how this goes down. I play the music, we do the chorus. Last thing, every time I use one of the words, you chunk the deuce. Quick question, you know how to chunk the deuce, right? Okay, I'm inclusive. Here we go. Everybody put up your peace sign. Turn your hand backwards facing you. Bend your wrist 90 degrees. Go back where you started. Repeat. You look beautiful. Yes, that's called, hey, there we go. My man is like, boom. When you, yes, perfect. That's an acknowledgement. Like 1 is an ace, 2 is a deuce, right? So this isn't, like if you go to a church in Texas and the pastor preaches and the congregation fills them, what do they say? If you go to a poetry slam and the poet or the poetess, they say something powerful. Do you know what the audience does? They snap. You come to a SaulPaul David collaboration, we use one of the words, like if I say easy, what do you do? If I say yes, or speed, if I say easy, I forgot all the words. Customer-centric. There we go. All right. I said a big word. That was cool. What's the biggest word anybody can think of? Customer-centric's good. Anybody out do that? That's when you decide to speak up? Super what?
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
How do all y'all know this word?
It's Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins.
I told y'all I grew up different. Okay. Like everybody knows this word but me. It's all good. Let's make a song. We can. Perfect. Here we go. If your mind's right, then you grind and you. In time you shine and you. If your mind's right, it goes down and you. If your mind's right, then you grind and you. In time you shine and you. Hey, if your mind's right, it goes down and you. Okay. First word on the list is not strange. I asked them and they all said change. And right now, you should be chucking deuces. I got some water, but I also know what juice is. It's in the back, other side of the expo. 3, 2, 1, now it's time, hey, let's go. I like how you just got crunk like petrol. Make a lot of money so I can afford petrol. Yes, speed is easy. I do what I do. If I don't eat, I get queasy. Believe me, I customer serve. That's what it is all the time. Word. Next one that I have is collaboration. I hope that you felt it and got inspiration. I switched it up, adaptability. He's a wedding singer, but this is my ability. If your mind's right, then you shine and you. In time you will, you grind and you. If your mind's right, in due time you will make it, make it, make it. If your mind's right, then you grind and you. In time you will, you shine and you. Hey, if your mind's right, it goes down and you. Okay. I used every word except customer centric and the one from Mary Poppins. So here we go. Oh, I like that encouragement. Yes, I get it. Serving people makes you customer centric. And this is how I choose to close it. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Let's go out together now. Then come meet us on the other side of the expo hall. Here we go. All together now. If your mind's right, then you grind and you. In time you shine and you. If your mind's right, it goes down and you.
Thank you very much, SaulPaul and David. That was great. Very